Is Moxie Comic Books. Let's talk comics. Specifically, the comics that are coming out for January 4th, 2017. Seems to be kind of a light week for comics. Not many comics that I can recommend or even are a good jumping off point. So today we'll focus on the comics that just seem like, if you're a new reader or if you're looking for like a new series to pick up, maybe these titles might interest you. So first off the bat, from Marvel, with a list price of $3.99, is the Unstoppable Wasp #1. And here's kind of a preview panel, courtesy of CBR.com. And the art looks pretty cool, right? And the story revolves around Hank Pym's daughter, who apparently, according to the description, is not a U.S. citizen yet. So that might be one of the plot points. But it seems to focus on a younger audience. The main hero is a teenager. So this might be a pretty good comic to pick up, and it's really the only comic coming out of Marvel this month that I can recommend. People try to give a chance to. Another comic to try and pick up would be Archie, the 75th Anniversary Digest #5. It has a steep MSRP of $6.99. But being one of the digests, you're probably going to be getting like a lot of pages and a lot of reading material. And this one celebrates the 75th anniversary of Archie. And even if it's been a while since you've read Archie Comics, I'm sure like most of you guys, that was actually my first exposure to comics because they were always just kind of available at the checkout stand in the supermarkets. And Archie Comics always has been a good source of decent comics with decent art, and it's wholesome family entertainment, so you can never go wrong with them. They've kind of taken a different direction in recent years with the updated and modern tone of Archie. I think Mark Waid was the writer for some of that. And then, you also had the horror-themed ones, and there's a horror-themed Jughead coming out that's being solicited in the January issue of previews right now. So, they're all over the place right now. There's the Riverdale show on CW. It's just a good company to support, and I recommend picking this one up just as a change of pace and just to remind you of what comics can be sometimes, not all superheroes and capes and all that kind of stuff. But speaking of superheroes and capes and all that, out of DC, I also recommend Fall and Rise of Captain Atom #1. And this is a part 1 of a storyline called Blowback. So here's a little bit of the preview for it, courtesy of CBR.com once again. And as you can see, it seems pretty action-packed. And the art looks decent, but other than that, it's #1. Don't know too much about it. I'm going to have to give it a chance and read it myself. I also recommend Atom Rebirth, straight out of Justice League versus Suicide Squad. And Atom is Korean, apparently. Ryan Choi, who is a student at Ivy University. And this is a one-shot. And the art for it is, it's kind of cute. It's presentable. It looks nice. Here are some of the other panels that are in the previews available for it. Looks like an origin story of sorts, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just those 3 comics. A comic that I don't recommend that some of you guys might be tempted to pick up is probably going to be US Avengers #1. The preview for it doesn't look that bad. It looks like your standard Marvel comic art, and I don't know too much else about it. Like I said, I got to read it. But look at this. This is just ridiculous. I mean, I think Marvel is heading down kind of a weird path right now. When DC issues comics like Atom or Captain Atom, their list price is $2.99. And they ship with only like 2 covers, like the main cover and then like a variant cover. Marvel Comics, when they ship, like the Unstoppable Wasp, I think is shipping at an MSRP of $4.99 with 7 variant copies. and US Avengers #1 is shipping with over 50 covers, different covers. I mean, the cover that has all the covers on it has an MSRP of $500, which is ridiculous. But I mean, every state is getting one. Like Alabama is getting their own cover with, Thor on it, and California is getting one with, what was it? I think it was Iron Man. And they must have had this planned out way in advance, because it's based off of like the election results, I guess. Like, if a state voted Democrat, then they got a blue cover, and if they voted Republican, they got like a red cover. But Canada gets its version of a cover with Deadpool on it, Like, let's just choose another one. Here's like Idaho. They have She-Hulk on it. And, it's like she's saying Idaho. No, Udaho. But, I mean, seriously, this is insane. So Marvel, I think, is heading down kind of an interesting path. They're really overdoing it with the variant covers. I've mentioned this in other videos that I've posted. And their list price is $1 more expensive than DC Comics. And DC Comics aren't trying to sell you variant covers that are bland. And they're $1 cheaper. And they have just as good, if not better, stories. So Marvel State right now, I mean, if you read Civil War 2, and if you were satisfied with the ending, you're in the minority. So Marvel, I think, is heading down kind of an interesting path. Basically, I'm kind of laying down an introduction to a future video that I'm going to be making about like the current state of Marvel. And then I'll do another one about DC, Dark Horse, and all that kind of stuff. But Marvel, I mean, like I said, I've mentioned in the past that they seem to be shipping too many variant covers, and some of the more expensive variant covers seem to be not as desirable from an art point than some of the regular cover. And then when I saw the US Avengers #1 variant cover list, look at this. This is like over 50 of them. This is just, it can't be cost effective, And maybe it is. What am I, like, I don't work in the comic industry, so maybe it is. Maybe this is something that's going to really sell. But as a comic fan, I just don't get it. So anyway, to recap, Marvel, I would pick up the Unstoppable Wasp, which is shipping with 7 variant covers. I mean, like, I thought that was insane, but I guess it's toned down compared to US Avengers. I highly recommend Archie. I highly recommend Captain Atom, and just Atom Rebirth. I don't recommend this one, but that's it. Like I said, January 4th, the comics available for this week are pretty light. Comment below, hit the like button. I'm really interested in what comics are you guys reading, what comics do you think I should be reading and talking about in future episodes. Do you agree, disagree with any of the comic recommendations that I make? And I'll be making an accountability video where I talk about some of the comics that I did recommend that after having read them myself, because these are all previews, like I always kind of film these episodes a day before they're released in the local comic book shops. So I'll make an accountability video where I talk about, like, now after I read it, do I stand by my recommendation, or did I make a mistake or anything like that. I'm also going to be posting a video about some of the interesting news coming out of the Phoenix Comic Con and also Wizard World Con. So look for that video later this week. Also, remember, if you subscribe, you have a chance of winning. If you're one of the first 100 subscribers to my channel, and you make your subscription public so I can actually see you subscribe, you have a chance of winning a copy of the Alan Moore's trade paperback version of Watchmen. So look for that video in my playlist for more details. And just to kind of tease, I will also be giving away a free comic this month, probably next week or the week after that. And all you have to do for that one is most likely you're just going to have to kind of comment below. So look for that video as well. So thanks, guys.